Aces for sure.
Uh-oh. This spells disaster.
Just a flat from Voynia.
Interesting. I mean, calling greater than 10% of your stack pre-flop with pair of tens certainly can still have the best hand a lot of the time, but it will put you in some really tough spots post-flop. And this is definitely a good-looking flop for aces. You're going to get tons of action from more speculative hands. Queen 10, King Queen, King Jack, 9-10, suited, etc.
Shaw has checked his aces. Voynia has the tens. Backdoor straight possibilities, and he's betting.
I have to say this check is absolutely masterful. If you look at how much money was in the pot before this bet was made on the flop, he knows he can get the chips in by the river. He doesn't have to start building a pot now. This is a dry board, effectively. There's not too many bad turns for him here. And a call. I love this play. I love this play. Being aware of your ability to get the chips in on later streets when you have aces on this kind of a texture is how you're going to get max value from a hand like aces. And the 6 is an absolute dream turn as well. Your opponent is very rarely going to have trips in this situation. And of course, if he had a hand like Jack-9 suited or whatever, you just counterfeited him, and he's still going to put the chips in regardless to try and protect his hand and or get value from a pre-flop dominating Jack.
So he checks a second time. Voynia is not slowing down. He's betting again.
I mean, it's so hard. If you're going to play tens this way, it's so hard not to bet this turn because you think he's floating with ace-king. You think he's floating with ace-queen. You think he's got overcards of some variety.
33,000. And he's going to leave himself less than pot behind.
This is such a crucial turn, though. This is exactly the same as the spot earlier on. If you flat the turn, are you going to lead shove the river? If you flat the turn, are you going to check again? I think probably you have to make the move on the turn now because flatting and then leading, it looks super strong. And then if you flat, checking is out of the question because he's just going to check back all of his showdown that you're trying to get value from. But I think he knows at this point that he's played the hand well. Now, what he does on the river here, this will make the hand.
I mean, you played the hand well. You're just looking for the cherry on top now. How do I get max value on the river?
That's right. I mean, and I'm assuming it's got to be a check on that queen river, right? He's got to go for the trap one more time because the queen connects with so many of the hands that he wants to barrel flop turn. With a hand like tens, though, he'll just try and take it to showdown, of course. It's going to go check on the river. I don't see any other way out. The reason he was barreling flop and turn is because he was worried about the queen coming at some points. And he does win a nice big pot there.
Wow. So Voynia just lost to aces. Now Voynia picks up aces and raises under the gun.
Such a silly game.
Do you remember we were talking about what do you do when you lose a big pot? And then you go, now how am I going to get back in this? Peels aces. All right, that'll do it. Sure, yeah.
This never works out for me.
I mean,
every time I lose a big pot, I pick up kings the next hand. I'm out.
You know, 6-7 suited.
I'm like, this is great. Everyone will think I'm tilting. I'll totally look like I'm steaming. And then I get run down by the 7-9.
Alternatively, this happens. It's just raise and take it, right?
Uh-oh. I think ace-8 off and the big heads up is always going to be a defend here.
How do you say there, Glainer? For Zemislav. No? You're not even going to try, are you?
Mr. Glainer has flopped top pair, but it's a full house for Voynia.
It flops dead.
It's something to do with blockers here. Something's not adding up. Something's not adding up here.
I can't be up against aces here. It's 25% less likely that I'm up against aces.
Action goes check, check.
I mean, how sick is that? You flop top pair and you're drawing dead.
Well, and the interesting dynamic here is when you flop absolute boat with aces, you're like, I'm never going to get value from my hand. This sucks. Because he's never going to have an ace because of the blockers.
Because of blockers.
Don't you know anything about blockers, Joe?
There's practically no aces left in the deck.
I mean, there's basically zero. There's almost zero. There's almost zero.
As close to zero as you can get.
It's about as close as you can get. He's like, how is this going to work out?
Delayed c-bet of 10K. A call from Glainer. The river card.
I mean, and then on this river, essentially.
You got to check it back. You could be up against quads here.
Essentially now you're going to size your bet to try and get value from a 10 because the 10 is the far more likely candidate that he's going to have here, some kind of a pair. King high probably will fold to any size bet. He could also have a queen jack type hand or something that he just rivers.
Can't have a 4 in the big blind?
He could have a 4. I think probably he would have played it more aggressively at some point though. But if he does have the 4, it doesn't matter what you bet because he's still going to go for the check raise anyway. So you're going to try and get value from the more likely hands.
Yeah, aces are good. Aces good.
The look on Glaner's face. Oh, that's
good.
That's surprising. Uh-oh. Big Tuna waking up with the aces against ace queen here. He decides to bump it up to 18-5. It's quite a small size here. But then again, probably won't struggle to get the chips in the middle.
King Jack. Just ditch it. Now, Calamus has been pretty active and pretty aggro. And looking at Tuna's stack size, he managed to put them all in here. Yep.
He's all in. Quick call, I'm assuming? Yeah, on the backs. Now, it doesn't get much better than this, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't care, Pierre. I have aces.
So this is what 7% feels like.
You've been there before.
Oh, many times. This is where I live, Joe.
10-7-7.
It's an extremely backdoor from here. Okay.
Queen on the turn gives Calamusa out. 2 of them.
So this is what 6% feels like.
The river is a 5. Aces hold. And Tuna will double up. Oh, kings.
Holy. James, don't say anything.
Can I keep it factual?
Yes.
Okay. So a 3-bet from Philippe Daudet. He's re-raised it to 24,000.
Can't believe his luck. 3-bet by the button when you've got pocket aces. One of the best starting hands in poker.
Just a call. We go to the flop, which is 5 deuce deuce. This is kind of a question of when rather than if the money goes in.
Sad news for Daudet is that there are only 2 aces left in the deck that can scare him off these kings. Biggie87 says, kings and aces, someone call the poker police.
Continuation bet from Philippe. 22K into 60K. And again, just a call. Five on the turn. Ashtet now a 95% favorite. Checks again. 104,000 in the middle. Ashtet has 90K behind.
You hate to see it. You hate to see it. There's the all-in and the call.
So, I will keep it factual. There are 2 cards which can eliminate Lena 900 from the EPT Barcelona main event. The King of Clubs or the King of Spades.
Olina call 14.
The river is a 4. Aces hold.